How do I start it? You start it, damn it.
Alright.
3, 2.
Yo guys, what's going on? Nemix here, otherwise known as Rob, and I'm bringing you guys a StarCraft shoutcast with one of my good friends, AJ, and actually this is his gameplay. If you want to introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Well, actually, he shouldn't be introducing himself. It's his own channel, but unfortunately, I probably won't be posting this due to computer problems right now. So, this is I believe it's a TVP, yeah, in Terran vs. Protoss, and looks like the standard build. I don't know what you're really shooting for. You kind of had me guessing early on in this game because I was a spectator.
Well, I had no clue what I was gonna do. Actually, I was the whole time when I finally got the barracks up is when I figured out what I wanted to do. So when we get to that point, I'll explain what I finally figured out I should do.
Yeah, I don't think either of you guys went for an early gas on this at all. I don't recall if you did or not, but I know
no,
you.
I was going for more money.
Yeah, I know you went out for the early barracks and it came out pretty well for you, and I think you kind of tricked me on this one because later on in the match you built a double factory and you put double reactor on it, and I didn't see any units come out of it, so I was kind of thrown off by that. I was expecting the Reapers known to your recent games, but it was pretty interesting. So we're going to cut over to the Protoss player very soon. I'm sorry, but this is a view from the spectator's point, which is mine, and I was focusing on watching his build order this game. Like he said before, he's been rushing money, and it's been working out for him. His past couple games he's been winning, and he's been doing very well in ranked. Alright, but like we said, we'll get over to the Protoss in a minute, but as soon as that barracks comes up, I think... Oh, there you go. So now you are getting your gas. I wasn't sure. A 2-minute gas is pretty average.
Yeah, this right here was where I was like, alright, well, I know Marines is not going to help me against the Protoss, so my next plan was to rush out as much gas as possible, just get a small defense up just to hold against the first wave of troops that if he would have sent. And I finally decided to go with, I was going to go the Widow Mines, if I can remember. Yeah. I was going to send those out for defense, and then later on I started doing the Banshees and cloaking them.
You're just shooting, you're just sitting behind their base, like, you can't see me.
Yes. So it worked out, but
yeah,
we'll see here in a little bit too.
We're looking at the Protoss. This is a very oh well, it already cut back to Terran. So from what we saw already, I'm sorry about that. But he had a pylon, a gateway, 2 gas, and he had his forge. Now his forge is for the upgrades. Obviously, his gateway is going to be pumping out his early game units, and you're expecting about 3 gateways, 1 robo by 7 minutes, 7-8 minutes. And the only problem when you're a Terran player, you're going to either have to wall off or putting out a substantial amount of units early on to defend against Protoss, because 7 minutes is a lot of time for a Protoss player to build up.
Yeah, this game went a little long, so...
Yeah, this game is a very long game, but like I said before, Protoss can come in here in 7 minutes and really do a substantial amount of damage. Now, the only thing I don't like about Terran is how fast it can mass. Now, I know people are like, oh, Zerg is the best at massing, but honestly, I think Terran is the best.
Once they get enough buildings up, yes, they can mass out pretty quickly.
Now, I'm pretty sure the reason why this game was long and didn't go as planned is the build order of the Protoss. Now, he didn't even think about upgrading the warp gate on all of his gates. Now, he has probably around 8 or 9 gates or maybe even more than that by the end of the game, and half of them aren't even set up with warp gate. He just left them to kind of sit there in the normal shape, and it ruined his production by a lot, and unfortunately probably lost the game for him. Now, if you look at his upgrades, he did get an early upgrade, which is amazing, and I love doing that within the first 10 minutes. It definitely gives you an edge. It puts you in a better situation than any other player, especially if you're going PvP. You'll have that little extra edge over them, especially, like I said, with more stalkers compared to less. Now, if you have 5, then they have 8. If you have that 1 upgrade, you're going to win. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
Now, I didn't know if he used if he was being effective with his chrono boost. I wasn't paying attention to whether or not he was staying on top of that. There's a lot of Protoss players do not use that throughout the game. They'll use it for the first maybe 2 minutes, and then they'll forget about it.
Which is a key thing for Protoss too. I mean, it really helps.
It is the most overpowered thing they have, the chrono boost.
So
No, I
this is
think
where I was getting my Marines up for a little bit of defense, and then I upgraded their armor and their weapons ability to keep them from dying off quickly.
you should go back into the edit and just put bands and make a dancing, and just have all your Marines just dancing.
Yeah.
Just make a dance, and just like 40 Marines just dancing.
I should do that sometime. Yeah, I will.
Just do like a what are these things called? Really, this is the most popular thing on the internet. I can't remember. Yeah, Harlem Shake. There we go. I couldn't think of it. Harlem Shake is Zealot style.
So then this is where I went to go upgrade the rest of my Marines, because I was actually thinking, I was like, oh my god, this is getting a little too far into the game. I'm going to be expecting something. So now I was like, oh crap, I'm going to be a little behind on this, and so I decided to upgrade the rest of the Marines' capabilities with that tech lab.
Which you really lucked out, because he stopped production for some reason. Now this upcoming attack, I think if you look at the map, he's mobilizing a bit up to the front.
Yeah, I think he was probably expecting something from me.
Yeah, and as you can see, he's also expanding his production from 2-gate to 4-gate, which should have been done earlier. Your 4-gate should be done by 7 minutes.
Yeah, same with the base expansions. And then this is where I get my Widow Mines out for a little extra defense, because they're a little overpowered.
The little is not even.
Yeah, they're really overpowered.
I was surprised because I've been watching your other games, and you expand really early. Like, we played a game earlier, I think it was a Fours game, and you expanded, like, you were the first to expand out of everybody in this game.
This one, it was when I got that barracks, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to expand right now. I'm going to just get these Banshees up, or these starports up as fast as possible, so then I can get them, and then I'll expand after, so then I'll have the money to build for the Banshees. And then also I was trying to work for the defense too. So.
Now I was also looking at your what's it called, your mules. I was surprised you weren't using them more, because I'm looking at your orbital command's energy right now, and that's at 90, so that's almost enough for 2 mules. And this is when you get your second base up, so I'm surprised you weren't. I don't know if you used them later on, but like you said with the chrono boost for the Protoss, that's one of your essentials. Now he is mobilizing his units. I'm surprised by this point in time he doesn't have more units. He should be getting his robotics bay up. If we scan over real quick, we don't see it. We don't even have a robo up. A robotics bay should be up by 11 minutes. You should be getting your first Colossus by 12. If you're rushing Colossus, you should be, if you actually mass off of 2 bases, you should be able to get Colossuses out by 11 if you're going straight for them, or maybe even earlier, depending, like, it just really depends on how your economy is doing, but you can't just go straight to Colossus, because, like, the last game you guys played, you countered it, AJ. You saw his Colossus, you went right for those, the Vikings.
Yep.
And the Vikings are just massacre to Colossus.
And then having the Marines and Marauders down on the bottom to distract, so then they don't get blown up easily by the other stalkers. But that was another game.
What I think you should add to your strategy, or anybody who's watching this video should add to their strategy, and we've been seeing it in the WCS Championship League so far. A lot of multi-attacks as Terran, like multi-drops at one time, has been doing the trick, and I don't know if you did it this game. I know you did it before, and I don't know how successful it was, but the multi-drop was definitely one of the more important.
Alright, so I wanted to pause it right there for a second just to update on what's going on. He is actually planning on doing the same thing he did to me in the last game. He was going to jump over the wall on me, but I have clearly a defense right here that is expecting that. So I planned ahead for that from the last game we played, which happened to be a little too long, and I didn't really want to do a shoutcast on that one. This one was actually a lot shorter. So, and then as you can see, he's got half of his units back here just in case if I was supposedly to come and attack him.
Which is happening to me a lot. I know I'm only a gold player, but in 1v1 gold, I have the worst luck with that. I'll go into attack, and of course they'll come around the opposite end with like siege tanks or something and screw me over, and I'll have to make like a huge run back. And it happened to me today against the Zerg player, and I actually came back and beat him. But I went to his base with all my units, and he GG'd because he only had 3 roaches in my base compared to my 15 stalkers shooting at his hatchery. So
So you can see that earlier you've seen in his production tab that he researched the blink. Now that ability allows you to jump over the wall if you don't know that. I know a lot of people probably already do, but just in case. And so he's going to use that mothership to see over my wall here. But I kind of already spotted his Marines right there on the wall.
Yeah, if you don't mind me cutting in, I don't know how you had vision. I'm thinking it was the factory, but I don't know
that
how.
That factory did give me an extra vision over that because I just barely saw the leg of that stalker. And then I could see on the mini-map the red dot.
Yeah,
so now he aborts that mission and totally goes back to base to, of course, rebuild up and get a bigger army up.
Now, by this point, if he saw you were doing straight Marines, or even saw you had Marines, he should have went right for Colossus or switched to Sky Toss. Now, Sky Toss in this position, I don't know how well you would have been able to react to Sky Toss.
No, I wouldn't have been able to. So this was a bit of a luck draw right here. I would have been screwed if he wouldn't win Sky Toss.
Now, if we look back at his base, I know my camera view probably isn't. I'm not sure. I'm looking at a free cam right now.
You're looking at my Widow Mines.
Yeah, on my camera I'm looking at his base. He has 2 gateways that haven't been changed over, and he's not doing anything with his robotics factory, facility. Now he just started producing a crap ton of Immortals and an Observer. Now the Observer is a key point to this game, and the reason he loses is because the Observer is, caught, I guess, in a bad position and gets killed. But the Observer was the key to this game. Now you see you're making Banshees right now. I think I'm looking at them right now.
I didn't even see his Observer, so I don't know where that came from or how it got destroyed.
Yeah, so you're building Banshees right now, which were the key to the win for this game. And Banshees are very effective. They are a great unit, and if you look at his army, he has that 1 Observer right there. Check it, and just sitting over his army. I don't know where that went. I don't know where he placed it. I'm going to put a track on that unit. I'm going to tab that one because I don't know how that disappeared or if he just left it there, but that was probably the one thing that would have won him the game.
Yeah, that would have definitely saved him because, yeah.
And I'm surprised he wasn't as persistent as I thought he would have been with the blink. I know you have Widow Mines right out front, which probably do a very heavy amount of damage. And when you have Widow Mines, I was going to say this during the game, but I didn't. If you know they have Widow Mines, especially if you're a Zerg player or you're playing Terran, if you know there's a bunch of Widow Mines up front, run in with 1 single unit and get killed.
Right. Alright, so I paused it again there for a second, but just to do a little bit more of an update. These Widow Mines I had sitting there, and I was actually going to plan on putting them over here. If you're looking at my screen, yes. Over here, and instead I decided to put them over here because there was a big open gap. So he could have snuck in behind this mineral field down here outside my gate and then blinked in on the wall over there and definitely would have screwed me over. So if I didn't make that final decision right there to put those over here to defend this small rush that I believe comes up right here.
One thing that I was going to say to him, like I said before, and I didn't want to ruin the game by saying this, but the number one thing he could have done with Protoss right now that would have really screwed you over was, first of all, DTs. Now, the DTs, not saying that you couldn't handle them because you do have an orbital command center, but...
That's why I got it early, too.
Yeah, now the DTs were not even meant to come by surprise.
Yep, that's how his Observer died.
Where?
The Widow Mines took him out. He came over to my Widow Mines.
So...
That's how we lost it.
Alright, so that was pretty much the game over. As soon as he didn't replace that, I don't think he got no one. No, he didn't. And he has
I don't think he realized it at first.
He has 5 gates out of his 10, or 5 gates out of his 9, or 8 gates. 5 of them, not even switched over. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so 5 out of 9 not switched over. That's a lot of production right there. And he's only making 1 thing out of his robotics. Now, they're doing pretty good economy-wise. They're not suffering, trust me. They're doing pretty decent that way, both of them. But what I was going to say is a good strategy for him would have been to take a Warp Prism. Now, a Warp Prism loaded with DTs and set it up in this dark corner. Now, if you look at your second base is mining. It's heavily saturated. It needs a little bit more than that. It only has 13 workers. But there's a little side panel right off to the left.
Yep.
It's a huge open area of just nothing. You could have put a Warp Prism and started spawning units in the side of your base. Just started spawning DTs, went in and attacked your second base and shut your economy down right there.
Yep, and that's another reason why I put those Widow Mines over here to give me that eye view of, if he
But he can
back.
fly around the bottom.
Yeah, that is true. So yeah, I would have been probably screwed right there, unless he would have poked himself right here by my reactor. But
Now, honestly, in this position, if you're giving him enough time, now he's covering this little archway at the top right. He could have took that expansion and started making even more money. I'm surprised he didn't take more than what he had. With Protoss, you want to keep expanding and keep your production up. And
so you can see right here, he's building a bunch of what are they? The pylons, if I can remember. I'm not a Protoss. I'm always Terran.
And then it goes with the 5 gates, the 5 more gates. And I don't even think he gets these over to be warp gates by the end of the game. I think he just switched his other ones over. Yeah, he just switched the other ones.
Is this where I start sending? Yep, this is where I start sending my Banshees out to go.
This is when it's GG. He had no way to react from this, and he could have fixed this by making a unit that literally takes 10 seconds to make, but I guess or it takes 20 seconds to make, so it's not even a big deal. He could have just came in and defended this as soon as he saw it.
Right, so we're just going to watch my camera point of view in this. So first things first, I cloaked myself, which probably wasn't the best idea because now I'm wasting energy. I could have waited until I started to see his units, but I started taking out his main economy here.
He comes in here with the 4 blink, and I didn't understand the 4 stalkers, so it's just
I didn't understand that either. He just came in with some blink, and now he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't have his observer. He doesn't know where it went. So now he's just trying to retreat back until he can get something up to defend to get it. But you know, it was already too late. I was already destroying too many of his units off.
I would have just kept running, but I'm surprised he didn't have any photon cannons in space. Now that would have solved this whole problem, and he would have had sight of use photon cannons to reveal. And that's like the #1 thing that Protoss spam, and he has a bunch of inactive workers. I'm not saying that's causing his loss right now, because they have plenty of money, but I'm just trying to figure out what his issues are, because he is going to be probably watching this replay, and he can learn from it.
This is where I select all my units to just come over and finally destroy the rest of it. But,
and there's that observer, but by that point it is way too late. He's down to 2 stalkers and an immortal, and the immortal can't shoot air, unfortunately. He just looks at it.
Yep.
And he's killing units off the spawn, and it's GG from this point on. So I think this is it, and we want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys. Subscribe.